Over the last 2 months, I played 7 MMORPGs. Some of these games were incredible, and some of them felt like they were specifically engineered to punish me for having functioning wrists. One of them had a community so emotionally invested in pronunciation that I'm now apparently in a blood feud with phonics itself. So today, we're ranking the best and worst MMOs I played in April and May. Originally, I planned to do these rankings quarterly, but my upload schedule has descended into complete chaos. So apparently, we're doing MMO bimesters now. So here you have it, the best and worst MMOs that I have played the last 2 months. I played 7 games in April and May and made videos of my gameplay. All 7 games qualified as MMOs, so I'm including all of them in my judging panel. So our eligible MMOs are Adrullan Online Adventures, Etherwind, Farever, Monsters and Memories, Project Gorgon, Scars of Honor, and Stars Reach. While I did make videos on EverQuest Legends and Pantheon Rise of the Fallen, I did not play these games, so I won't be including them in this ranking. At the time of this recording, my most viewed videos were on Monsters and Memories, and my least viewed was on Etherwind. If I let my viewers rank the top games using the digital currency of views, the list would look like this. My ranking is pretty close, so let's get started. In last place is Etherwind. Both view count and my personal experience rank this at the bottom of the list for best games I've played this bimestral. And you know what? I'm not even going to waste a single second of your time or mine summarizing what this game is actually about. Because its video was my lowest viewed upload over the entire period, you, the audience, looked at the thumbnail and collectively shrugged and informed me with your actions that absolutely none of you cared. The analytics have spoken, Etherwind. My number 6 is your number 2. But the analytics on this one are very interesting. Because before the open playtest launched, my videos on Scars of Honor completely caught fire. The views were up, the hype was real, everything was beautiful. But then the moment y'all were actually let into the open playtest to experience the game for yourselves, a bizarre phenomenon occurred. You all collectively vanished. You had absolutely zero interest in watching any additional content on the topic. In fact, I had an entire follow-up video planned to cover the playtest in depth, but the previous upload performed so poorly that I scrapped the entire plan, threw it in the digital garbage, and moved on. The spreadsheet demanded blood, and Scars of Honor was the sacrifice. And look, I honestly don't know why y'all lost interest in the game quite that fast. Maybe there was too much coverage and y'all got video fatigue, who knows? But for me, the reason it's down here at number 6 won't surprise you. Because, as usual, it was the controls and the combat that completely ruined the experience for me. However, if I had only used the terrible view counts from the playtest week to determine this game's fate, our rankings for this game would have been exactly the same. So I think we're actually aligned here. My number 5 is your number 4, Adrullan Online Adventures. And look, before we say anything else about this game, I need to take a moment to formally apologize to their player base for mispronouncing the word Adrullan in my previous video. Apparently, it is pronounced Adrullan. Now, in my defense, I was simply using standard English linguistic rules that combine the letters D and R together, like in names, like Adrian or Adriatic, or everyday words like adrift and adrenaline. But no, Adrullan apparently rejects the foundational laws of the English language and demands to be pronounced entirely differently. And boy, did the community let me know about it. So you know what? Fine. If we are just abandoning the rules of phonetics entirely, I would officially like the Adrullan community to henceforth refer to me as Pine. Yes, because Penny just makes way too much sense, doesn't it? Let's just make up sounds. Why not? Of course, I am kidding. But seriously, that is not how words work. And the tragedy here is, I actually enjoyed this game a lot. But it was the graphics and then later the uncomfortable behavior of the community that completely ruined the entire experience for me. Look, MMO player bases are always fascinating, but the Adrullan community is so profoundly invested in their chosen virtual world that they have seemingly made it their passion project. The second my video dropped, they were quick to critique and dismiss my judgment of their game. And I need to make something very clear to these people. I'm not being paid by MMORPG.com. I have stated multiple times that I am not a professional reviewer. I am just a woman with opinions and editing software. I play games and I like to make videos. That's it. But somehow in doing those two incredibly harmless activities, I deeply offended the High Council of the Adrullan Empire. And quite frankly, because of that reaction, I don't know if I ever want to play that game again. At the midpoint, I actually had an absolute dead heat tie for number 3 between Stars Reach and Farever. And breaking a tie is hard. It requires deep thought, critical analysis, and emotional maturity. So naturally, I did none of that. I looked at your community views and saw that your views ranked Stars Reach lower and immediately said, great, perfect, that's my number 4. Someone else did the math for me. It's called efficiency. It was your number 6. It is my number 4. And we are moving right along. So I genuinely deeply enjoyed Stars Reach. I loved that you could earn experience in a variety of different ways. And the aesthetic, absolutely magnificent. It has this gorgeous, retro, futuristic 1970s Star Trek vibe. It uses these bold colors, beautiful clean lines, and an intentionally integrated UI that made it an absolute visual pleasure to play. But, and stop me if you've heard this one before, what I disliked most was the combat. My feedback for Farever, which takes our number 3 spot, is almost exactly the same, which is why these two games were trapped in a dead heat tie to begin with. Now visually, Farever is an absolute gift. It has this stunning, hand-drawn treatment that honestly had me comparing it to the graphics of Breath of the Wild. But let's be completely honest with each other here. I desperately need more playtime in Farever to give it a truly fair, comprehensive review. Right now, my analysis of this game is incredibly superficial. I am basically judging a book entirely by its gorgeous, hand-drawn cover. Because once again, I do not like the controls in the combat. But, and this is the only reason it beat out Stars Reach to secure the number 3 spot, the combat in Farever is just a slight bit less strict than your typical high-stress action combat game, which actually makes it a little easier for me to play. I actively want to play this game more, so I'm completely fine using that exact bias to rank it number 3. My list, my rules, deal with it. Which brings us to number 2 on my list, which happens to be your number 3, Project Gorgon. This is a very special moment because this is one of 2 games to successfully make it to the list 2 bimesters in a row. And let me tell you, Project Gorgon is an absolute, unadulterated treat of an MMO experience. I have yet to log into this game a single time and not have an absolute hoot of a good time. It is fun in a way that I genuinely cannot fully express to you in video format without looking like I'm being paid under the table. But there's a massive catch here, because despite the fact that the word multiplayer is literally baked into the genre name, I have yet to find a single solitary reason to interact with another human being in this game. I have played this entire MMO like a single-player RPG. While hiding away from society like a digital hermit is a completely viable way to play a game, Most MMOs usually manage to maintain a larger community vibe even when you are actively ignoring everyone around you. But Project Gorgon, at least in my experience, does not feel like there is a bustling community around me at all. Now, does that total isolation ruin the experience for me? No, of course it doesn't. I'm an introvert. It is practically my love language. But it is absolutely a bizarre phenomenon that is worth calling out. At the end of the day, it is a guaranteed ironclad good time every single time I hit that login button. For that reason alone, I'm gonna keep playing it. Which brings us finally to the absolute undisputed king of the list. And beautifully enough, this bimester, both you and I completely agree on the #1 position. Because having a staggering 533% more views than its closest competitor, Monsters and Memories didn't just win the top spot, it slaughtered the competition. Now, in all fairness, I did upload more videos on Monsters and Memories than I did on any of the other games on this list. But even if we adjust for my own hyperfixation, even if we take the single top performing M&M video and pit it against the absolute best performing video of any other title, Monsters and Memories still pulls 310% more views. That data is unequivocal. You all passionately love watching content on this game, which is incredibly convenient for me because I passionately love playing it. It is a beautiful symbiotic circle of nerdy validation. And the reason I am enjoying this game quite so much is that I am essentially experiencing it as two completely different games simultaneously. On one hand, I have a dedicated static group that I play with twice a week, and let me tell you, it provides that pure, unfiltered, classic old MMO experience that most of us desperately try to recall from the golden days of EverQuest. My group is absolutely amazing. We jokingly refer to our scheduled nights as the memories portion of Monsters and Memories. And honestly, whatever happens to this game long term, those nights are probably going to stick with me for years later. But on the other hand, I also play this game completely solo. And the solo journey is a totally different beast. Navigating a deeply dangerous, social expectant world entirely on your own is brutally challenging, but it makes even the tiniest minor successes feel like a monumental life-altering triumph. Now look, I don't solo all the time. I will occasionally join a random pickup group, but let's be completely honest, those chaotic pickup groups do not compare to my beautifully well-oiled static team. But the world, the lore, the gameplay, and the community have been so intensely appealing to me. And while I know not everyone will experience the exact same magic with a static group that I did, this game fundamentally gives you the structural opportunity to make the absolute most of your gaming experience. Whatever that looks like to you. It is that exact versatility that keeps me coming back week after week. In fact, right now, as this video is premiering, there is an open playtest actively running. I cannot encourage you enough to drop everything you are doing, go check out this game, and start making some ridiculous memories of your own. Until next time, my friends, keep exploring, and I'll see you in the next world. Testing. My ranking is pretty close. I'll throw that on the screen as well. Oh, you know what? Let's not even do that. My ranking is pretty close, so let's get started. I've played this bimestral. Bimestral? This bimestral. I'm still not getting this right. So, I will get this line correct. The lists 2 bimesters in a row. Nope, I said that weird. And look, this is a very special moment. No, don't stop saying look. And look, while hiding away from society like a digital hermit is... I hate words. Words are so hard. And... But it is no. But it is absolutely and the reason I'm enjoying this game quite so much is that I am essentially And the reason I'm enjoying this game quite so much is that I'm essentially I hate words. And the reason I'm enjoying this game quite so much is that I am essentially just gonna have to do an outtake.